Hey there, toy collector friends and Transformers fans alike. Welcome back to the channel. I am the Triple TC, that is the time traveling toy collector, and in today's video we are taking a look at another base mode bot. In this instance it's the recent HasLab Omega Prime, but in this instance it is the base mode that comes with the Optimus Prime figure as part of his alt mode, which is the fire truck. When he transforms into his robot mode, he also transforms into a potential super-powered battle station. I'm calling it a battle station because I think that's the kind of base that we're dealing with here. Now, as you can see, Optimus does kind of scale a bit to it in terms of he can hide behind it. But otherwise, it's not really giving him a lot of opportunity to engage with it. Now, that said, my 5 criteria, as those of you who are familiar with the channel now know, I'm applying to looking at base modes. And again, if at any point anyone thinks of additional criteria, please let me know in the comments down below and I will incorporate that into future videos. But my 5 criteria, playability, interactivity, different levels of play, function, and of course fun, come into play really easily with this one. Although I do have 1 or 2 observations. Now, from a playability point of view, this is quite a lot of fun. And I will actually say to you that of the 3 Transformers HasLabs that I've picked up, which is Victory Saber, Deathsaurus, and now RID Omega Prime set, this is the one I've messed about with the most. This is the one that I've kept coming back to. So the Optimus, particularly the Optimus, in fact, more so than Ultra Magnus. Ultra Magnus, I think because of the nature of how that figure is draws me in less. But there's something really I find infinitely playable with this little set, whether it's the fire truck, Optimus in this mode with his battle station, or when the battle station combines with Optimus to make his superpower mode. I find this a very playable set. And one of the things I really like is that whilst this is modular, you can adjust it so that you can have it in different sort of configurations, which for me, if you can adjust it and you can get your own outcomes from it in terms of how you want to play with it and display it, etc., then I think that's really great from a playability point of view. And to be clear, you're probably aware, and some of you may even have screamed at the screen, that's not right. If you're going to say these are facing the wrong way, what I'll say to you back is, they're facing the right way from me, because normally this faces the back. In the normal configuration, this section faces the back. That's popped out. They're pointing forwards as additional guns. But then these are lost, and they're only really usable then in fire truck mode. And to me, why would a fire truck have 4 missile/gun things tucked away? So for me, to get additional playability out of it, I've reversed this, and I now have this fight pointing forwards to support the notion that this is an attack base, or a defense base at the very least. And everything else down here, such as these little guns here, are posable. You've got this section here, which is a bit battle armory. Now again, because it's so tall, I've had to zoom out super far to fit it in. I still can't fit it all in. As you can see there, I have to tilt right up to get the rest of it in. But you can see immediately how this affords a degree of interactivity with the right type of figures. And by that I mean we've got Cerebros, who was included in the Omega Prime set. I did wonder why we were getting a headmaster from a totally different character in this set. But I think it is to demonstrate from the off that playability factor, because he is perfectly scaled to fit in the chair. Even though the chair is now reversed, he can still stand in this point here, and he can face this way around. So the fact it's reversed doesn't impede his ability to participate as an additional toy in that line. I'll just zoom in so you can see that he has very nice compatibility there with whichever form of or mode I have this in. He's going to work because it's kind of scaled to his size. Now that doesn't mean it's uniquely scaled to his size, because as I've said, we've got our HasLab Optimus here, who can very easily be part of this setup and be using it as a missile command bay, or indeed some sort of, this could be a radar or some sort of communications docking area here. So there is lots of scope for playability, and that bleeds into that whole interactivity section of my criteria as well, because again, you can interact with it. I can put smaller figures into the spaces. These sections here I can rotate around or put to the front, so actually I could have some other Micromasters here, or even some of the deluxe figures from the Generations range, whether they're Legacy or Studio Series or whatever, Age of the Primes. They can fit here. They can be part of this battle station. They can be behind it. They can be protecting themselves, and it would work. So the interactivity is a real plus for me here. I think that really kind of works, and it really sells well. In terms of levels there are, but they're not massive. There's not a massive amount. We can see from the main base area here that the levels, we've got ground level where some of these things are occurring and these guns are pointing out. But we've also got this level here. So we do have a level up, and then we have this entire raised tower section here. If it is facing this way, then this bit really doesn't give you what you want it to. It can point this way. You can have it open, sorry. You can have it open that way around. But for me, that doesn't really make too much sense. So it's almost easier just to keep it in the closed position. We can pull these out this way. Sorry, out this way. And then we get a nice view of all the sort of detailing that we have at the top there. It would be harder to incorporate Cerebros in there this way round, but that's a sacrifice I'm prepared to make. But this is a personal choice. I've chosen to have these pointing forwards because I think that makes sense from an attack base. Why would you have them pointing to the back? But you're not wedded to my ideas. This is just my interpretation so that I can actually get some additional playability out of it. And to be fair, some additional function, because again, my fourth criteria is function. And for this to be a defense base, it needs to be heavily fortified. And whilst it may have this sort of radar system pointing this way, again, why keep your heavy artillery cannons or missiles pointing to the rear? I can understand why it might be useful, but you know, if there's a rear attack, I can rotate this around. It's fine. I've got it covered. But from a displayability point of view, I know it's cleaner on the other side, but I just like having these here because it shows impact, it shows threat, and it gives a bit more detailing to the function of this base. It is there to defend, and it is there to defend through attack, potentially. And now I feel that this truly shows off how heavily fortified this particular base mode is, which leads me to the final criteria, fun. Is it a fun base mode? Well, I think it is. As I've said before already, it's configurable, so I can change things around within a template, but I can. There's scope to move things around. You can adjust bits. You can raise these up. You can lower them down. You can rotate these guns around. You can position Cerebros. Let me rescue him from over there. You can position Cerebros all over the shop. So, you know, wherever we want to have him. Again, we can make use of these different levels. He can be over here. There's a lot of plus to the fun factor with this. And the fact that you can configure it how you want without there being a particularly right or wrong answer. Can I stick him in there just for the hell of it? Well, apparently I can't because he won't stand up. So I won't try that. That was just me mucking about. But there's a platform there. We can pop him on there if he wants to behave. I think his legs are slightly askew. He doesn't want to stand up when his legs are slightly askew. Let me fix that. Let's see if he'll stand up now. Might be because it's tilting a little bit. Let's put him somewhere flat. That'll help. Well, he's clearly had a very long day. To be fair, he has had a very long day. He's appeared in several videos today. He needs his bed, to be honest. He can stand there for now. So yeah, is it fun? Well, I've had fun messing with it, and I've really, and again, as I say, and I don't say it lightly, I've had a lot of fun messing with it, and I do appreciate that it isn't possibly everyone's cup of tea. I know most people, and this is why I'm looking at doing this sort of mini series, looking at various base modes, is a lot of people go, oh, they're the sort of poor relation in a Transformers transformation cycle. People don't really get on with the base modes, some of the base modes, and to be fair, some of them are far worse than others. I think this scores particularly strongly against all of those criteria that I'm applying. And I'd very much like to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. How much attention and time have you spent with your base mode? Have you found any additional configurations that you could use this for, or that you can use that brings extra value to it? And what do you think of having these cannon missile gun things pointing forwards? Do you think that makes sense, or do you think I've lost the plot completely? It's cool. I won't be offended if you think I've lost the plot. I'm usually first in the queue to acknowledge that the plot and I have parted company. I suppose it would have been nice if somehow in this reimagining of this toy, there could have been some way that Optimus could have had a control panel or something that would have implied that despite him being this size to this base mode, he still had some direct interactivity. But as mentioned, there's absolutely no reason on this planet why he can't just be based behind it. You know, it is if it's a defensive platform, then it's there to defend him. So, you know, get behind it, Optimus, and save yourself. And hopefully don't kill Cerebros off in the process. So, there we go. What do we think of the Robots in Disguise Optimus Prime Battle Base mode? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I kind of like it. I kind of had a lot of fun with it. I can't lie. I mean, I could lie, but where's the value in it? I've really enjoyed it. And again, I think actually of all the HasLabs, this has given me the most fun and the most pleasure so far. So I'm really pleased. From being something I was really apprehensive about because of, well, we won't talk about it. To being one of the most absolute joys in my collection, I have to say. But thank you for spending the last 13 or so minutes with me. I've been the Triple TC. That is the Time Travelling Toy Collector. You've been a wonderful audience. I look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments below. And if you haven't already, please do smash the like button. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, it would be a fantastic honour for me if you could. But if not, don't worry. I'm glad you were here for the ride. And I hope you've enjoyed your time with me, the Time Travelling Toy Collector, in this video. Just remains for me to say that things of beauty really are toys forever. Take care. Bye-bye for now.